Featured in 4 unique shapes and 2 thicknesses, the Joola 3S paddles come loaded with familiar technology. Like any good movie trilogy, do we need the 3rd installment? Let's find out. Mark?
Will.
These look a little familiar. They feel a little familiar. What do we got?
Well, these aren't exactly the newest paddles, but they're new to us. The brand new Joola 3S's, they all come in the same most popular shapes, the Magnus, the Perseus, Scorpeus, and the Hyperion. Are they similar to a lot of paddles? Yes, I guess my answer is compared to the MOD or the Mod TA15, there is power, there's lots of spin and responsiveness. It just feels like a more toned down package overall. How do you feel about them?
Yes, you have to compare them to the Gen 3s, to the Mod, because they're all in the same grouping. Similar technologies, I know the construction's kind of been back and forth. These are slightly muted power-wise to me compared to the Mod, and definitely compared to the original Gen 3. They don't feel as plush. I felt better connected to the ball with the Mod, and even with the actual Gen 3s, just felt like the playability experience was all there. I'm not really sure why these came about. I feel like, in my opinion, they nailed it with the Mod. I don't know the drama behind all that, but the Mod, in my opinion, was the best out of all of these iterations.
I will concur to a point. In terms of the plush feel, I always try and play with these paddles as much as I can because I know they do change with play over time. And they felt a little boardish to me at the beginning, but after play, they are softening up. They're not gonna feel as hollow or as soft as the Mod TAs, but I definitely felt like, being on the receiving end of your serve, I felt like your serve had more pop to it than even with the MODTA. It did look like you were swinging a little faster, but the ball was definitely jumping off the ground. Definitely pretty effective being on the receiving end of it. Overall, I just felt like these paddles did loosen up a little bit. They kind of broke in a strange turn of events. I typically like a 16mm core. I enjoyed the 14mm version of this a little bit more than I did the 16. I would probably add some weight to this right around the throat area just to keep the twist weight up. Keep the static weight up and without affecting the swing weight too much. But overall, I don't know, the Perseus, I really enjoyed all the shapes. The Perseus made the most sense to me. I know you preferred a little more face. Is that the reasoning behind the Magnus?
Yeah, I was a fan of the Perseus on the Gen 2, and with the original Gen 3, I like the Mod TA shape. But what I was finding was that, while I think the Perseus is the most versatile out of all the shapes, I was finding I really connected with the Magnus, and I think it's probably because the face is a little bit bigger. The grip being smaller, I don't need it because I have smaller hands and I don't use a two-handed backhand. I feel like the serve was probably the best shot I was connecting with the Magnus. So I was getting deep serves, I was getting a lot of connection with the ball. I didn't feel like it had as much pop as the other paddles. When I say to pop, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's dwelling, like sitting on the surface a lot. It just hits it and it's off really quick. And I didn't like that feeling so much with a lot of these 3S paddles, where I felt the Mod and even the original Gen 3s did a better job at really connecting with the ball and not having so much pop. Felt like I had more control of my shots. Now looking at the control, I felt like there was still a ton of control, very good all court paddles, but again, I just wasn't getting the stability I wanted, the direction, everything that I wanted to control the ball. It was like almost there, but these paddles just left me wanting.
Interesting. So I thought this was a very much a control and spin story instead of raw power. I definitely had my opinions on where this paddle shined in relation to the kitchen line or the baseline. I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of where this paddle or where the Magnus shined.
So looking at the whole lineup, with the Magnus, the one that I really connected with, I felt really good when I was taking drives, harder shots. If I was taking pace off the ball, it's where I started to lose some of that consistency. And in fact, this paddle made me want to hit harder shots. If I tried to dial it back and rely on softer touches, I was having a little less consistency. The Scorpeus with that higher twist weight, obviously more stability at the net, but I couldn't connect with the maneuverability. Maneuverability was too low for me, and I just couldn't react to a lot of hard volleys. The Perseus and the Hyperion, very similar in my opinion with playability. The arrow curve I still enjoy with the maneuverability, but the Perseus had a little bit more forgiveness. So looking at the whole lineup, that's kind of what I thought. But again, the Magnus I feel like was just where I needed to be with maneuverability, with power, with control, and the whole package.
I kind of felt like from the baseline, this paddle let me be me a little bit more. It was very control oriented, and where it really shined, and I was just felt like I was mindless near the net. This paddle was made for dinking, resets, blocks, that kind of thing. Anything in proximity to the net, those long protracted rallies, this paddle was ideal. And it forced me to swing a little bit faster, maybe take a little bit longer swing from the baseline to generate pace, but didn't seem to really have any issue with it from any part of the court.
When it comes to spin, I felt like the spin was there, tons of spin. Story isn't really a big note here. If you hit with the Gen 3, if you hit with the mod, I feel like the spin is just great.
Yeah, again, I'll just lean on, I really felt the theme or the storyline of this paddle was precision and spin. Over a period of time, we have played quite a bit with them. I'm not noticing a diminishment in spin potential. I haven't noticed a breakdown in the paddle. It's not really livening up that much. So overall, these things have stayed in their original form throughout the whole play test. I will continue playing with this one, probably add some weight to the Perseus 14 mil 3S for sure.
Yeah, overall for me, I still think the Mod TA is the standout out of the whole Gen 3 Joola series. I think that paddle is just aces everywhere. These paddles, while they are great, just wasn't the whole package for me, considering that the mod is just so close akin to it. So recommending these to people, I think anyone's gonna have success with these. They are top tier paddles, especially being at the higher price point. But if you're looking for a paddle of this mentality, I have to recommend the Mod TA.
Overall, I would agree these paddles did break in and liven up a little bit, but if you're looking for that easy power, I have to concur. The Mod TA 15 just definitely delivers it from any part of the court. But if you are interested in a little extra precision and you want to swing a little faster yourself, then I would probably lean over to the 3S side of things. That about wraps it up for today's paddle review. If you'd like to learn anything further about these Joola 3S paddles or anything else pickleball related, be sure to head over to pickleballwarehouse.com. And if you're down under, be sure to visit totalpickleball.com.au.